Hey fantasy fans, welcome back. It's Dan here with Treebeard Book Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is the first novel in, I guess, the Empire of the Wolf series. It's his debut novel. I think it's a debut fantasy novel. I'm not sure if he's written any more, but holy cow, this novel is fantastic. I'm going to get it out of here straight out of the gate. So let's kind of break down this novel. I'm going to talk about the plot, characters, some of the magic systems, what I liked, what I didn't like. It is spoiler free, so I'm going to there'll be no spoilers. You don't have to worry about that. But really kind of get into why I like this book. I'm kind of coming out with this review now because the second book, The Tyranny of Faith, comes out in February, which I'm definitely going to be reading. So if you're going to be reading that too, maybe check this out or confirm your beliefs on this book, or if you're interested in picking up the series, hopefully this is a good jumping point in for you. So let's get into the review.
Thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel and making it the best it can be.
Alright, so The Justice of Kings, what is it about? So you're going to be following the character of Helena Sedanka. So she is, I guess, the protege clerk of Emperor's Justice Sir Conrad von Valt. So the Justice are kind of like wandering, I guess it's almost like, it's like Judge Dredd, really. It's like Judge Dredd with a bit of like Dooney stuff in it, but it's really like fantasy, like Judge Dredd or medieval Judge Dredd. It's really cool. But so anyways, Sir Conrad von Valt is a king's justice, so he's kind of roaming around the empire and on the fringes, kind of dispensing justice, where he goes to villages and he kind of settles disputes and he meets with the people. All right, so let's talk about this book. So what's kind of going on? So you're introduced to the three main characters. Well, I guess there's one real main character who's your POV character. This is a frame narrative, so Helena, the main character, Helena Sedanka, she is kind of recollecting her life, telling you her life story, and kind of reminiscing on this time period in her life when she is a young woman. And she is the protege or clerk of Sir Conrad von Valt, who is a justice. The book is called The Justice of Kings. It is centered around, von Valt, but you're really kind of seeing it through the eyes of Helena. At first, I was a little bit disappointed. I'm like, oh, it would have been nice to see, everything in the POV of, von Valt. But now I think, it's a better story for it being told from the POV of Helena, and I really enjoyed her perspective and just her as a character. I think he wrote her extremely well. She's an interesting character because, she's like an orphan. She's actually kind of very reminiscent of Vin, where, she's under this, superior, I guess her, a fatherly figure who kind of pulled her off the streets, where you don't really know if she has powers, not like Vin right away, but very Vin-like character, and her relationship with Conrad, and almost kind of like with Kelsier. But anyway, so I'm not kind of doing any comparison there really. But the other character is Dubin. I think it's Dubin, or it's Dubin. I think I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook's absolutely fantastic. So if you think about getting an audio, it's great. I did also read this book. I think I read the first 120 pages before I had to stop. I put it down over the Christmas break, and then I picked it back up. And so yeah, audio's good, reading is absolutely fantastic, but this is really just kind of a murder mystery whodunit. So Conrad and Helena and Dubin, they stumbled upon, on their travels and their path of dispensing justice, they stumbled upon a murder that has happened where a lady has been murdered. She's an aristocrat, and she is married to one of the local lords who is big into trade in the area. And they're kind of really out to solve the mystery of her murder. But then, going out to solve that murder, they see really these other bigger political things that are going on at the time. So it's a great story. There's so many things you just go down the rabbit hole with. But I really kind of want to talk about a few things first. Is the writing style. It is a frame narrative told from the POV of Helena. She's kind of recounting on her life. Older Helena kind of jumps in at the end or beginning of chapters to kind of just give you a little bit of a preface and reflect a little bit on her life. And but one thing I really liked about the story, with this typical murder mystery or crime novel, is he's really good at telling you where to look but not what to see, if that makes sense. So he makes you feel clever while you're going through. You're piecing it together just as fast as Helena is, and I got it just maybe a fraction before she did. So I really like that. Like I said, I think it takes a really good author to do that, and I think Richard Swan did a fantastic job with this the story and these characters. So let's kind of get on to just a bit more of the plot stuff I want to touch on. So this one, the one thing with this story is, like, maybe it's a minor complaint, is I wish it was longer. It was a really good book, and some parts did feel a little bit rushed, where like a lot of development like happened really quickly. Like there's a kind of a romance that like shows up, and I felt a little bit rushed, but it could also be kind of chalked up to like young love. But I was always, just one thing I want to talk about is I was always interested in what was going on. He always kind of had my attention. I was always kind of captivated with whether it's the murder kind of mystery going on and them trying to solve that, or whether it's with like the big like the overarching political things going on in the background, with, because there is like when the empire took over, they installed their religion, but their religion was almost very similar to like with modern religions, where instead of just burning the church down and like building a new one, it's just easier to change the sign out front and say under new management, right? So I really like that. And so there's a lot of like religious fanatics going on, but how they tie into the politics, and you're just really kind of immersed in it all. So he always had my attention. It was very fast paced. I felt I was never bored. I was never like hurry this up. Never like that. Always enjoyed it. Always enjoyed being in the POV of Helena, and I just wanted more. Like that would be one of my complaints, is I wanted more. This book could have been 200 pages longer, and I would have dug it. So, but saying that though, I think he did a very great job of keeping the story to like this size and executing everything. I felt fully satisfied by the time I got to the end of the novel. One thing that I do want to say too, like, where I do say it is fast paced, but he does give you moments to breathe, where you need that like kind of like to take that breath, because you're also solving the murder mystery yourself too, right? So he gives you that time to kind of cool off and like think about it. And I really like that. It's really, really well paced. Absolutely amazing pacing in this book. And the things I just want to touch on are like the themes he kind of brings in. Things of law, like war, like justice, like the power of one man, to execute like justice and sentence people. And I think the biggest overarching theme really is that no man is above the law. And you really kind of see that stretched in this book, especially with the character of Sir Conrad Vonval, where he has such strong opinions, and those get tested and they get strained. And this man who you see as this pillar of justice, maybe he starts to walk a darker path, and but you see like how that kind of happens, and it's really good. It's like I said, what he does with the page count, fantastic. So let's talk about the characters. I really liked all the characters. Helena was great. Obviously, she is like a female character. Richard Swan is a man, and I don't know. I'm not good at like saying, oh, like yeah, he wrote a female character well. I thought he wrote her fine. I have no complaints. Maybe anyone who like any females who have read this book, please let me know if you've read it, what you thought to his writing style of Helena. I thought it was good. I thought it was believable. It didn't seem like out of place, and it just felt familiar and it felt right, and I think he just wrote her very well. And I always liked Helena. I never did not like Helena, and I was always kind of rooting for Helena. And one thing I really appreciate, and this could be maybe a minor spoiler, is that he kind of puts this seed in your mind that maybe Helena has powers. And I haven't talked about magic yet, but I will talk about magic soon. But he doesn't just like come in at the end and like ass pull it with magic. Like, yeah, there's magic, but you can't just use magic. You need to be trained in it. So I love that. I love that he just did that with Helena. Conrad, again, just a fantastic character. Really, he's kind of like a melancholic, like just, he's seen the worst of the world. He's judged, some of the worst people, sentenced people to die who didn't deserve it. And he's just, he's that typical lord. You can have everything, but still have a tortured life. So, and then you also have Dubin, who's like kind of like the comic relief, but he's also got a dark past himself and can be very emotional and have like very high highs and very low lows. And I think they all really kind of meshed well together, and I like that trio. So there's some other characters that kind of come in that are side characters that you meet in the story. One is like a sergeant in the city, And I thought he was really well done too. You at first you're like, oh, this guy's a bad guy. He's a for sure bad guy. But then like you really kind of warm up to him. So I really like the characters he created here. The bad guys were bad. The good guys were gray. And it's just really good. I really enjoyed my time with these characters. So let's kind of get onto the magic. It's the last thing I want to talk about. And so all the justices have this power called the Emperor's Voice, where they can have a myriad of powers. I think in the book it's usually two, where they have two types of powers, where they have like the Emperor's Voice and then some other power where it could be like necromancy or talking to animals. But the Emperor's Voice is almost kind of like in Dune, like the voice in Dune, where they can command those to speak truths. And it's like the voice meets the force, because it only works on those who have like weak wills, and you have to be trained to kind of resist the voice. So I think it's really well done. I really enjoyed the magic. And the magic is used a lot and to great effect, but it also shows you the costs of doing it. You can't just like use this voice on people and like their heads will explode, kind of. But yeah, I really like the magic. Like that, but the magic. Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone, but the magic isn't the focus. Like the magic is there and it supports this whole like plot. Like I don't think if you didn't have the magic, like some of the plot elements wouldn't work for sure. But it's not the main focus. Like it's there, it's in the background. You can always kind of feel its power. But it's really well done. I really enjoyed this story. And one thing is, I didn't pull any quotes out, but I will say this is a very quotable book. I think Richard Swan just has he just hits on those themes with very powerful just quotes and dialogue, and like that war, law, no man is above the law. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable read. Like for like a 400-page fantasy novel, like he just hits everything that you need, and I cannot wait for the Tyranny of Faith in February. So that's really it, guys. That's my review. Like I said, pick it up. It's a fantastic read. To give this a rating, so if we're going by Goodreads, I gave this a 4-star. I would say it's like a 4.25, but to give it my rating from my system, it is a Treebeard seal of approval. Great book. Cannot wait for the next. Highly recommend it. And, you know, if you've read it, comment down below. Tell me what you thought. What were your, maybe not spoilery, but like, maybe you can even hit me up in the Discord and we can talk about it too. There is a link to that below. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this review, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.